China just began the annual meeting of its National People's Congress, which is China's legislature. And this is basically the biggest annual set piece of political theater the country has. These meetings are important to Chinese leader Xi Jinping as a symbol that China and the Communist Party are getting back to business after the pandemic. One of the main focuses of attention is a surprise signal from Beijing that it plans to impose a new national security law in Hong Kong. Officials say the law would punish things like subversion, foreign interference, and treason. The reason Beijing is considering these laws are the anti-government protests that have been shaking the city for almost a year now over a controversial extradition law. Timing-wise, the pandemic presents the party with an opportunity because of the rules in place in the city right now that limit groups to 8 people or fewer. And that gives police more power to arrest anyone who might come out to protest the new law.
This week, pro-democracy legislators were manhandled.
The Communist Party sees Hong Kong as the front lines of its conflict with the U.S., which has been poking China over its treatment of the protesters.
This is the end of Hong Kong. This is the end of one country, two systems.
Activists and opposition lawmakers in Hong Kong are describing this as a huge blow to Hong Kong's autonomy. One country, two systems is the framework that was established in 1997 when the UK handed Hong Kong back to China. It was supposed to grant Hong Kong a high degree of autonomy for 50 years. And rule of law is really what has underpinned Hong Kong's status as a global financial center. After the announcement, the Hong Kong stock market had its worst day since 2015. Not even the coronavirus pandemic or the protests spooked markets like that.
If it happens, we'll address that issue very strongly.
The reaction from the U.S. was quite strong. 2 senators, a Republican and a Democrat, put out a push to pass a new bill that would impose sanctions on mainland Chinese officials who were involved in enforcing the new law, as well as the banks that they deal with. The legislation could prompt new protests in Hong Kong. There have already been calls sent out online for protests to happen in the next couple of days. We'll have to see whether people actually come out into the streets given the pandemic restrictions.